I watched Blade Runner 2049, and first of all, I need to, I guess, say rest in peace to the Blade Runner's um, previous villain. His name is Rutger Neuer. No, Rutger Hauer. He died a couple of days ago. He was the guy who played a replicant in the original Blade Runner. Blade Runner, apparently from a, from a date or time perspective, is quite interesting for me because the original Blade Runner is a 1982 movie, and I was born in 1982. And the movie takes place in 2019, and I'm in 2019 right now. Even though the second movie, actually came out in 2017, I just watched the second movie, Blade Runner 2049, in 2019. So the first movie basically it was made or was released in the year I was born and talks about the year that I am now. And the second movie is about 30 years after the events of that movie. And even though it was released 2 years ago, I'm watching it now. So with all these, coincidences, and unfortunately with the passing of the uh, Rutger Hauer, I think is his pronunciation. Now I had these different feelings about this second movie. Now I wonder if I'm going to be alive in 2049 to discuss the Blade Runner 2049, or maybe if there's another movie afterwards, that movie, which I doubt. Um, so you need to know what happened in the first Blade Runner. There is actually a very brief explanation, a textual explanation what happens before, and this is a continuation. There are some people you would be familiar with, although the main story is actually centered about new people, and there are a lot of beautiful females in this movie. Um, and I don't want to spoil much, but maybe I should talk about a bit and then do a bit more spoiler. So, the original Blade Runner was a slow movie, and it had these very unique songs or music in it, recorded by or made by Vangelis. This movie has music with a guy plus Hans Zimmer, but not Vangelis. But I realized that the music and also the whole theme of the movie is a continuation of it. So this is a similar movie, and it's the musics aren't bad, but it's not at the level of Vangelis. At the same time, this is a slow movie, just like the first movie was slow. This is even slower. And I watched I don't know if it's a theatrical version, or a longer version. It was like a 2.5 hour long movie, which you would think a lot is going on, and in a sense is, but at the same time, everything is happening very slowly. The scenes are slow. Um, the facial focus on characters and seeing their impressions there, it's all slow. As long as you know the first movie, you wouldn't be lost. So not a lot of simultaneous things are happening in this movie. And it's also not an action movie. The first one wasn't either, even though it had action segments. And this is like that as well. So there are action segments, but the whole movie is more about the narration and the artwork itself. It's a very artistic movie, and um, it follows the first movie in a way that it makes sense, but also there is a weird element to it. There's again a criminal investigation going on, and it's not exactly explained why the thing that happened in the movie happened, or how can it can happen. There's a miracle in the movie, uh, and yeah, it's a miracle, but So why did it happen? If there will be a third movie, which technically that can be, it's going to be centered about the continuation of that miracle. Um, the the movie is nice, but it doesn't actually reach the level of the first one. But that's not surprising. It's still a good movie. The sceneries are really nice, and now that it is in the further future, it depicts now you can see larger areas with this movie, how the world is and such. Um, it depicts it nicely, I would say. Um, but I can't help but say that I was somewhat bored. So I'm not used to these slow movies, slow narration movies, and therefore, yeah, I was at some point a bit kind of bored. And I noticed in the YouTube comments there was a somebody joked that only in Blade Runner 2049 there can be a threesome with two people, and somebody followed, and with zero humans. So I recommend it. If you liked the first one, you should watch this. If you didn't like the first one, don't watch it. And if you are so-so, you should still watch it, I would say. There are some CGI, but it is not like a CGI fest. So there are real physical sets and maybe even locations in this movie that really gives an authentic feel. So because it's such a now advanced level science fiction movie, and also happening in the future, you would think there could have been a lot now that everything can be CGI in some movies. No, it's not like that. So I was happy with that, and um, the acting is nice, I would say. Yeah, I wish the action part was a bit longer, was a bit more sophisticated, because I think it deserved that after some intense, some tension building up. You don't want to see very um, satisfying action. It wasn't like that, I would say. So if you're an action fan, you will be bored. If you are, however, a sci-fi fan, and because the first movie is such an important movie, I would say that you should watch this movie. If you are a sci-fi fan, just for the knowledge sake. And in terms of spoilers, I will say a couple of things. So, oh yeah, there are coming some spoilers. The replicants in the first movie were hunted down, so I would have expected the replicants to be extinct, but it's on the other hand, no, it's the first generation or the Nexus 8 generations were hunted down, but the later generations are not. Um, yeah, so there are a lot of replicants, in other words. And in fact, they are now uh, much better than humans. The first or the earlier replicants, I think they were like rebellious and such, but they were very few and very last of them, I think, remaining. Now there are still some old versions, but there are a lot of new versions of replicants. But the thing is, though, the rebellion uh, is not really averted. It's the other way around. There's a childbirth, which is not really explained. How can a replicant give birth to a child, or rather, how can a replicant be made with the uterus? Apparently, the Rachel from the first movie, she has a uterus, ovaries, and such. So she and the Harrison Ford character, they made it, and now there's basically a child, which is the only thing that was missing. If you think about it, between humans and replicants, in order for a biological organism to be defined, or a species to be defined, they should be reproducing, and replicants are not able to reproduce in the biological manner. Everything else is biological, however. So now with the childbirth aspect, there is really no difference between humans and replicants. In fact, because they are like disease-free and such, they are simply superior. In fact, a lot of humans you see there are like coughing, and some of them are sick. There's a sick woman, and that's the other thing. So that woman apparently is the child of Harrison Ford, but she has no immune system, I think, or some malfunctioning one, so she cannot go out. So how can she really lead a rebellion? That's what another replicant was thinking about. Like we were gonna rebel now that we have childbirth, but it's only one instance. So what? So they have to take um, um, the manufacturing facilities and and initiate replicants with the uterus, right? Um, so I'm not clear why the Rachel was made with a uterus. I think she was maybe because the original creator wanted a baby from her, maybe, or he just wanted the perfect human, which can only be with all the internal organs intact. So that now gave result to this baby, but other replicants they don't have uterus or anything or ovaries probably, so they're just missing. So, and the main villain, the Jared Leto guy, is just alive and untouched. So there is basically room for a third installation with some replicant rebellion and such. Though this would take away from the criminal the aspect of the movie. So yeah, there are some unanswered questions, but most questions are answered and such. So yeah, I enjoyed the movie and I recommend it.